you like music?
Oh, yeah, of course. Want to play something?
Oh, sure. Would be cool. Some of the music we sent each other.
Yeah, you know what I've been listening to nonstop is this. And I was actually thinking about using this for the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
like
yeah.
for the podcast.
I love it.
Yeah. Coils.
Oh, then another one was that one, Annika, I Go to Sleep.
Oh, yeah. I'll play that one then.
See, you can feel it, you can sense the rhythm of it.
Oh, yeah, this song is so good.
But esoteric.
And I love Coil, but I never heard this track. Borderline?
Yes. God, Libra must be talking to you.
Too. Oh, and I go all the way back down.
Sick.
For reading comics, I guess.
Oh, golly. 6. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now your turn. 3. 1, 2, 3.
Up.
Going up.
Yeah. Or mowing the lawn.
Wow, this is amazing. Ain't that something? All right. 1, 2, 42. 5.
Oh.
A growth spurt.
Yeah, I think I already got that one, or maybe you did. Yeah.
One of us indeed. 2.
We're tied.
2. Yes, we're together.
Again.
Hey, how's it going? Golly.
Perfect. By the way, maybe we should finish this game, but I'll
Yes.
give you the dingbats copies or show you them.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Oh my goodness. I have to say that Friday, it was so fun get to meet Robert.
Yeah.
Robert reminded me so much of an associate from Willenburg CTC. An old acquaintance.
Should we drive by Willenburg later?
Sure, I want to show you Willenburg. It's on Weymouth and 7, and it was and is the foundation of kind of like my character in a way.
Yeah.
It shaped me.
Right.
Gardena High shaped me too, but Willenburg shaped me as well, professionally.
Yeah.
The character of me was shaped at Gardena High,
Yeah.
but also professionally, I was shaped at Willenburg, which I do give my thanks to Willenburg and always my gratitude and hat because, well, I learned lots of things over there. I learned to cook. I learned to do basic living skills, like independent living, because it's important to. I even thought about this too because my parents, my mother or my father, they're getting up there to getting older, and they're gonna pass away at some point. Which to hate to say it, it's going to happen. And I also had this thought, and it was maybe it's a silly thought, but it came to mind. A fear that one of our brothers would send me or my sister, or not even my brothers, maybe probably my relatives, was sent my sister and I to some kind of mental hospital or an insane asylum. So that kind of, shook me or scared me, like,
Yeah.
to, knowing that my parents would be gone, and, and the people in our life would, take advantage.
Yeah. That's frightening.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I must act now and be,
Know how to be independent.
be independent and be self-reliant. Rely on myself
Yeah.
instead of others. I don't want to rely on others. I want to rely on myself, because without that, you have nothing at all.
True. I mean, from my vantage point, you seem pretty independent. You
Thank
know how to cook. You know how to keep a house, I think.
Oh, well.
Or I get the sense you do anyway. And, just in terms of, like, being a self-starter, like, your whole writing career and meeting Chris
Like,
and others.
Getting to know people. Socialize.
That's all from you, and there's no one. Obviously, you have a job coach. I'm sure he's been helpful
Oh, yeah,
with
Jesse.
the Home Depot of it all, but there's a lot of things in your life that seems like you've done totally on your own volition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to give myself credit. I don't want to be I don't want to sound conceited or whatchamacallit. There's another word for it. I think it's called being waving my flag around. I think you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Patting
it's
yourself
not-
on the back.
Narcissism. I don't want to be a narcissist of some kind. And you know what? No. I just want to be proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
If that's,
Yeah.
if I want to believe in myself too.
Yeah.
It's important. You can have all the things to get better. You can have all the medicines and whatnot, but you have to believe in yourself. As you believe in God, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
If you believe in others, believe in yourself that you can do it. And that's important. That's an important message to send to people. You can do it. Heck, if I can go to all these places just by taking the bus,
It's true.
who would have thought it? But I could probably do more than that.
Yeah.
I have to believe in myself.
No, you're very resourceful, and I think that's true. Like,
And
there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's
if
a way.
there's a will, there certainly is a
Yeah.
way. And I guess some people don't like that. They don't like that that you relying on yourself instead of the person, because
They
that
expect
way,
things out of it.
they have control over you.
Well, it's like,
and that's
yeah.
terrible. That's a terrible thing to do that to a person, to control them, because they're relying on you. No.
Yeah.
If you're that person, whoever it is listening, if you're that person, just don't do that. Don't do that to that person. You're how can I put duping or duping, whatever.
Yeah.
That's just a horrible way to do that to a person.
It's
You wouldn't want that to happen to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why do it to them?
Yeah. What do you think people can kind of protect themselves by being as independent as possible?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. And I give my thanks to Willenberg on that, and Project Search, like Miss Shelley and Mr. Jose and Miss Alicia and Mr. Jewel. He's from Canada, which is kind of interesting.
It is interesting, all the way down to Gardena from
Yeah.
Canada.
So they taught me a lot when it comes to job skills and whatnot, soft skills, and also there's another word for it. I'm sorry that I forgot, but there's there's the soft skills, and there's also the other skills you have for the job, like the physical one.
Not hard skills.
The hard skills, the hard skills.
Yeah. That's how they divvy it up there at Willenberg. It's like you have your hard skills and that makes
Yes,
sense.
they're
Yeah.
teaching you how to be independent and how to, take care of yourself and to provide for yourself in the future, like getting yourself a job and take care of yourself financially.
Yeah, it seems like it's a really good program.
It is, and it helped me a lot in a way.
Yeah.
And it did. And speaking of Project Search, I'm going to be meeting with my former job coaches and kind of like educators, my teachers, next week, Thursday.
Nice.
I'm going to the Kaiser Hospital. That's where their office is at. So I'm going to the Kaiser Hospital to do a talk.
They're kind of like counselors, as it were, ish, or they.
In a way, you can say that. Yeah. So I'm going to be talking to them. They just want to get to. They want an update from me, how I'm doing and whatnot. And I was thinking, I want to introduce you to Miss Shelley and Miss Alicia.
Yeah.
I want to introduce you to them because, well,
I'd love to. Yeah.
Yes. So you have an idea, an understanding of where I come from.
Yeah, and they work at Wilmer or they work at Kaiser?
Well, at the time where I was there, we were at Willenberg because the office in Kaiser, I don't know what happened. Something happened. They just, at the time, couldn't let us in or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they had us, we were based at the Willenberg school, you know. And, for that period of time, it was quite an interesting shift from being a student from being a student to becoming an intern at the Project Search internship.
I see. Is that how you got the job at Home Depot, or is that separate?
In a way, yes, I did get the job. It was from SBS Social Vocational Services.
I see.
So then,
and they kind of worked with Willenberg?
Yeah. So then, Project Search.
Yeah.
So then people, in a way, they helped me. There's one lady, her name is Mackenzie Edwards. She's like, in a way, like my realtor for jobs.
Yeah.
She helps me, search for jobs that are opening, and she tells me, she helps me with job interviews and whatnot, how to behave, to be composed, look at them in the eye, and talk to the person. But also don't be a certain way, because sometimes when you're a certain way, it's hard to tell they will hire you.
Yeah, people are.
So you can't always tell with the person, but you have to be your best, be composed, be professional in a way.
Yeah.
So that's what Mackenzie and I, we work together on that, where we're seeking jobs, and she helps me with the dialogue, with the interview questions, and I try my best to answer them. And it ain't easy. It's not always easy. It's like reading a script. Yeah. So you have to find a way not to sound robotic in a way, but be natural.
Totally.
Be natural.
Yeah.
And so, and I tell you, a lot of places we've gone. I went to Top Golf. I got the job at Top Golf, but I couldn't take it.
Was that like a mini golf place?
Yeah.
No, that's like that place where people go. It's like digital.
No, it's a mini golf place.
Oh, cool.
But I didn't take it. I'm sorry I didn't take it, but in a way I'm glad I didn't take it. Because first of all, it was so far away where I lived. It's all the way in El Segundo.
Oh, yeah. You have to probably take the bus every day, right?
But the thing is, they would provide us, the people that are working, the group of people, they will provide us a ride. And
I see.
My understanding, what I've been told.
That's helpful, but it's still a commute.
Yeah, and I thought, well, Miss Shelley, she said, I'm glad she was my second opinion to not take it. I'm glad.
Yeah.
But also, I'm glad I made the decision not to take it too, because in a way, I wouldn't have gotten my other job.
Right, which is
the Home Depot.
A mere few. I don't want to say where you live on the podcast, but it's just very close to your house.
Yes. So it all worked perfectly in a way, like a bow, like all tied up in some kind of bow.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have met all the people at my job and my workplace, all the acquaintances and associates I made throughout the years, the 2 years I've been there, and all the people. If you notice over there, everybody. I don't want to say it, but everybody knows me.
Yeah. We went there
like
the other time I came down here.
They treat me like a superstar, but I don't want to be. I don't want to coin myself as a superstar. I just get to know people.
Well, it's good to be known.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, similar with the literary scene now, right?
Just get to know people. Yeah. Don't wave your flag around and be some kind of louse.
Yeah.
And just puff up your air and be some kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be some kind of puff.
Yeah.
Some egomaniac. And I'm guessing, everybody's an egomaniac, of course, but you have to be conscious and aware of it.
Yeah.
And remove yourself. Don't be that egomaniac. Be you. Be the person. And just get to know them. Don't get to know them just because they write a certain kind of writing, what they did, or what this, that, or the other. Just get to know the person. Mm-hmm. Shake their hands. Hey, it's very nice to meet you. What's your name? And, well,
like
what do you like doing?
Yeah.
And things like that.
Like when we met Dennis Cooper the other month.
Yeah, we met Dennis Cooper.
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
It is something, yeah. I wasn't expecting that. We went to this event.
Yeah.
Stories, it was Chris Zyshag.
And David Leo Rice.
David Leo Rice. And there was...
and Dennis Cooper.
There was Dennis Cooper and Zach... What's his name? Zach...
Farley.
Zach
his
Farley.
associate.
Yeah, his associate, right. Yeah.
But it was very nice meeting that Zach. He was a very nice feller.
He was.
Very gentlemanlike. And his other associate, I'm sorry, I think his name is Udi or something. That's his name, Udi. And it was very nice meeting him. And I tell him, I'm glad, I'm sure your parents or grandparents must be happy or glad for you and proud of you of the things you're doing. And that's a nice thing to do and have, and know that somebody out there is proud of you.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so, and when I talked to Dennis Cooper, it's very, how can I put this? I'm trying to recall the feeling because it's all so exciting, and it was caught in the moment, and I was just myself, and I was just so peppy, and just I was stepping out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, no, for sure.
If you noticed.
Yeah.
And just the way I talk, just like I'm talking right now as I'm speaking, it just, in a way, I made him laugh.
Yeah.
I made him laugh. And I'm glad I met him, and I wish I could meet him again.
I'm sure you will. I think he'll be around. Yeah, it's funny. After that, I'd never read The Sluts, but I picked it up at Barnes & Noble. I thought it was very good.
Ain't that
and you've read bits of it, right?
Yeah, I've read Closer on the Google.
Yeah.
They have the experts of Closer and The Sluts. And then there's another one. I'm trying to...
Frisk?
That one.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I read that one. It was very... God, it's like reading... It was like reading one of them Goosebumps books. I don't know how to describe
there's it's quite a bit more graphic and explicit.
Like reading
than
an after-school special.
Yeah, it's like an after-school special where things go a lot
dark,
worse than you ever could have imagined. Yeah, but he's very good. And of course, he's influential on me and Chris and a lot of everyone, maybe. James Nolek, who we'll meet soon, hopefully. I just got a notification that his book is in the mail, which I'll give you a copy of too.
How's he doing?
He seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in a couple of days or a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I was going to say, but the Sluts kind of influenced you a little bit too, right? Funny to say, but on
influenced me.
On specifically your story, this server should be deleted.
Oh,
maybe, right? Yeah.
Actually, no.
Fair enough. I mean,
B.R. Yeager's Megalotropolis.
Yeah.
That one. But I'm guessing that one too was an influence of. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So sorry, I didn't mean to disrupt that.
That's okay. That was influenced by the Slut. So I was influenced by B.R. Yeager.
I see. I haven't read B.R. Yeager though. I know the name. Yeah.
Just because I've seen people on YouTube review the books here and there. I forgot his name. This individual, this man, he did a kind of like an essay. Because all these videos, they're all video essays. So he did this video essay on that book, which I found it intriguing. Then this other guy, this fat guy, I don't remember his name, he did another review of that one, the book, Megalopolis, which in code is Fear City. I broke the code. Fear, Magdala, the first word, the Magdala, whatever it's called.
Magdalalopolis.
Yes, Magdala is fear, and Tropolis, city. Fear City.
Interesting. What Magdala means
fear.
In what?
To be afraid.
In what tongue? In what language? Or is it more coded than that?
No, that I did not pay attention. I just read that it was about something. I don't know if it was the brain that. I think it's a chemical in the brain that just provides fear.
Oh, like the amygdala.
That one.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Well, anyway, I just pulled out these recent copies. They're still test copies, but they're coming along of an Odyssey of Dingbats. What do you think of...
I love the glossiness.
Yeah, the glossiness is a definite plus. I think the spacing looks pretty good, in my opinion.
Wow.
We're getting more blurs. What do you think of the way this looks with the heading at the top? I think it looks pretty good myself.
Show me that again.
Just on each page it says an Odyssey of Dingbats.
This is good.
Yeah, I think it comes out.
It's good. Look, just a little too close. I don't know. Maybe it's just the software you have, but it's fine. I can work with it.
Yeah, I'll try and put a little more space, but overall, I think this is coming along.
I like it.
The spine keeps giving me issues, but that'll be corrected.
Oh, I love that.
You like the
logo?
Yeah, so that's not the official logo, but it is a placeholder.
Yeah, that's not.
And we're going to be working on a logo for New Ritual Press. And yeah, NR001. Yes. I kind of just put this in for fun. This may just be in the test copies, but I used some of your art.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with it myself. I hope you are as well.
Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.
If you would like to read would you like me to read you the introduction?
Yeah, you can go ahead and read a little bit of it at least.
Okay. Introduction by Matthew Pegas, or Matt Pegas. When I first met Mr. Omar King in August of 2024, I knew within moments that his voice was worthy of being elevated. I'm happy to say that the encounter was recorded, almost from the start, as an episode of my podcast, Strange Flows, and can be found online. Omar showed up in a collared shirt and tie, dressed for the occasion of the first public reading at the Noisy Nest, a non-profit performance space in Beverly Hills. Golly, that was quite an adventure.
It was.
He had a piece of artwork in hand for both my co-host Evan and myself, each drawn on the back of a cereal box and depicting the sort of oddball character I would soon come to associate with Omar's imaginative artistic universe. For Evan, a haggard-figured Omar described only as a disquieted man. For me, an obese and unshaven Shrek, eyes shut as hypnotized by the aura of his own corpulence. I don't know what corpulence is, but I'm going to look it up later.
Oh, like fatness, basically.
Oh, fat. Another word for fat. Well, Omar had stories to tell. He'd come all the way in a taxi cab from Gardena, California, where he lived and worked as a parking lot specialist or associate for Home Depot, having graduated Willenburg CTC, a career transition special education center. He told us about discovering James Baldwin and a broader fascination with literature. In his high school's library, he told us about attending the book launch party for Christopher Seischig's creation on Art and Unbecoming, published by Apocalypse Party Press in March 8th. It was on March 8th. That was a Friday, I reckon. He was focused on making the acquaintance of the indie literature world on and offline and felt it was enhancing in his life. He even had a manuscript he was shopping around to limited and delayed responses, as is of course typical.
Yeah.
Omar had a speaking voice that some have described as sounding southern or vintage, but that, Omar would later clarify to me, was simply the only way he knew how to talk. Outside of speaking Spanish by default, of course. He was 23 years old, born and raised in Los Angeles with no southern roots, and had developed his way of speaking in high school while attempting to be more verbal and outgoing. Not to project yet more labels on Omar's voice, but to me, the immediate impression was of being the presence of a Harry Cruz or Cormac McCarthy or William S. Burroughs. His voice was folksy, to be sure, but more so literary. Imbued with a strong and unique way of seeing things, I told Omar I'd be happy to look at his manuscript and explain that I could help him get on Amazon and maybe have it to be the debut release for my own independent publishing venture. And so there you have the origin for this volume in New Ritual Press.
Indeed, indeed.
And I have to say, it's very interesting how everything tied up together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It just, in a way, if Ben, the editor-in-chief of Apocalypse Party, or Filthy Loot of Ararat,
yeah,
or no, those are the only two. I was thinking about something else, but that's the only two I submitted it to. But if they, hadn't, picked it up, I wouldn't have met you, I wouldn't have met Evan, and I wouldn't have met Robert. So in a way, I'm thankful. I'm very thankful that it didn't get picked up by either one of them. Even though I'm sorry it didn't, but I'm glad. At least
work out.
It worked out perfectly, like a bow, like a perfect
bow on top.
bow.
Yeah. Have you heard back from them since at all? I mean, listen, it's not, as I said in the intro, it's typical, everyone's overrun with manuscripts. And hey, I've always said this, not to be down on myself, in a way I think this, in Honesty Being Bats, in a way I wish it was going to a bigger, more established publisher, because I think it's worthy of that.
Yes.
But that being said, I'm very happy to be the person helping bring it into the world, and sometimes these things do feel faded, and it's just a question of of getting it out to as many people as we can.
Yes.
And with that, we're partners, you know what I mean?
And friends.
And friends, of course.
Yeah.
Because, I have some knowledge of how to do that, but I'm not necessarily an expert, so it'll be an adventure it'll be an adventure we partake on together.
And learn from.
But,
And many more
in
adventures to come, huh?
Yeah. What's that?
And many more adventures to come.
I'm sure, yeah.
And, I'm glad I'm in this road and adventure with you and Evan.
Yeah.
Heck. If it didn't even happen, if it didn't happen with one of those two, maybe I wouldn't have never met you.
Yeah, you never know.
So I'm glad.
Yeah. Well, here's to the book and to New Ritual Press. Yeah.
And many more.
And many more. There's already a second volume we're talking about.
Yeah. I want to say the title, but we will reveal the title in the future.
Yeah.
After Dingbats, the volume 1.
Yeah, we got a lot of irons in the fire. We're talking about the event. Maybe you're reading at Stories in Echo Park. We're talking about an audio book.
Yes.
And I want to keep working diligently at that, but at the same time, it's I guess we'll just let it all happen, right?
Yes.
Because I don't think either of us are in any way lazy. We're just letting the opportunities come to us a little bit.
Let it flow, let it breathe, and just enjoy every minute.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, I've dabbled with filmmaking and stuff too. The advantage of literature,
cool,
that would be cool. But the advantage of literary stuff is you can just do it anytime. Time to do an audiobook, boom, let's do it. It's not like
why not?
Filmmaking where it's okay, everyone's got to be here at this particular time, and there's a window that we have to do this in. There's an advantage to books.
I'll let you say.
Go on. Yeah.
I have to say, I can totally see. I can totally see Lester become a short film.
Yeah.
Or I can totally see Chester become a short film.
There's a lot we could do, lots of sketch and skit style.
Or the
stuff.
Chip Dream. Oh,
the
man.
Chip Dream.
God.
That might have some high production value, but would be worthy for
that
sure.
Would be fun. I can do the narration, or I don't know how to act, but I can learn.
Well, it starts maybe with the audiobook, and then that may make more clear.
Yes, and I can tell. I would, for casting, I would love to have. I'd love to have Chris play a role in this movie, and I'd love to have either the one of them ladies, Brett or Aaron, to play in the movie. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's I've actually never seen this movie, but the writer Raymond Carver.
Yes.
There's a movie called Shortcuts.
That's that one.
Have you seen that? I have not, so I'm just kind of talking off the cuff. But
I saw bits and pieces. It was quite very obscure.
yeah, I could almost imagine a movie version of Dingbats where it's the interrelated stories as kind of an anthology. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that would be fun to do like an anthology, like an American Horror Story or
Exactly.
The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
The
Both great
Twilight
shows.
Zone, indeed. I gotta read you the back so people have an understanding
please.
of what they're getting into. You know, it's a silly book, but it's not something to be taken serious. You know, I don't consider myself to be high and mighty, or I don't want to call out any person. I don't want to call out a certain person, but you know who I'm talking about. You know who you know who I'm talking about. But it's just a silly book and a dark book too. But I'm glad, and I like that it's put together. And I want to say that I'm happy of the results of it. So it's not a serious book, but it's a silly. That's the key word. Silliness is important. Without any silliness, you'll just have pure horror. You gotta have some silliness in horror. It's a balance of life. You have to have that.
Yeah.
So anyway, horror, transgression, dark humor, drama, bleak language in some areas of the book, and probably romance if you count the talking print Creola, a hopeless romantic. Fornication here. They're everywhere. It is an odyssey of dingbats, I can tell you that. One bizarre and sick story after another. Reading it is like reading a schizophrenic's private diary, a dime store novel like no other. An odyssey of dingbats, it sure is. The people in the anthology are just trying to go out about their days and figure things out, while an old fart is looking for his golden elephant, and another old man is spilling his heart out about his dead chimp to a couple of yahoos in group therapy. An orange crayon is having an existential crisis, or perhaps a revelation, and a woman named Colleen got the shits and had a terrible nightmare in the shitter. An odyssey of dingbats, indeed, indeed. When you read it, it'll make you laugh your bottom off and wonder to yourself, what in God's name is wrong with these folks? Or what's wrong with the person who wrote it? Nothing much really. They're living and existing like you and I. My good sir and, well, madam, I present to you an odyssey of dingbats. And indeed it is.
Indeed it is.
And originally I was going to call it. No, I can't say that's the title of the second volume. But that was originally was going to be called.
Yeah.
So then I switched it to this, and then another person in the comments didn't like the title because I guess it was demeaning of, I guess, the people and their likeness and whatnot, and you know, in the video, because I did a teaser trailer for it. And if you read the comments, I hope you read the comments so you have an understanding of what I'm talking about. I guess
it was a misinterpretation.
It was It wasn't supposed to be kind of like ridiculing the people in it or the stories. It's more of like, listen, you know, we can be dingbats, you know, and it happens. That's life, and you know, we're silly, and you know, silly stuff happens in our life, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Dark things happen, you know, and we get a good chuckle of it.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think it was supposed to be derogatory.
Exactly.
You know,
I mean,
it's a term of endearment.
Like insanity or some kind. And insanity is not supposed to. I hope I wouldn't want to degrade anybody to call somebody insane. I'm sorry. I really do apologize in that. But it's just like a play on, kind of like a play with words.
Right,
That's
and
what I'm doing.
Not to show cards too much, but I think this is, for me, for many people, this may be a point of intrigue. It's a little bit of a play on a confederacy of dunces.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, no relations, but it in a way. Yeah.
And you know, Toole writing that wasn't necessarily calling his characters dunces.
Right.
I mean, maybe he was a little bit, but it's meant, you know, the characters in the book, they're at the end of the day, they're just
satire.
Characters. Yeah, it's satirical. You're not saying that these are me and my associates, these people. It's more like as with any art, this is a kind of exaggerated, isolated version of maybe some characteristics, just satirical, at times funny, at times moving in.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And no relations to Tool, but because I'm not Tool, but I'm just kind of like a homage in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a homage, but I can't write, the way he writes, is because the way he writes is so different from the way I write.
Yeah, we all write so different. And if I could comment,
Go ahead.
Further on in that introduction that Omar was reading, and elsewhere that I've commented or written online, I would describe, your style is unique, of course, but it's kind of an interesting blend of different people. I mean, to me, there's shades. There's shades of Tool. There's shades of like Dennis Cooper, I would say, but also very different from that at the same time. Very influenced by David Lynch. Basically, if it's your style is both unique and also the product of many, many, many influences, all of which I think are great and love to see coming together. Yeah.
In a way, teachers.
Yeah. And you even
teachers.
highlight some of the teachers in the book. You mentioned Baldwin,
Jamie
Burroughs,
Baldwin.
and
Burroughs. And Carson McCullers, have you heard of her?
Mostly just from your book have I heard of her. I haven't read any.
She
Carson
wrote
book,
A Member of the Wedding and another one where I'm trying to recall because it was quite a very sad story. I don't know if it was Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando played a lead role in that movie. It wasn't Member of the Wedding. It was another one. I don't know, the title of something to do with a cafe or something. Sad Cafe?
Yeah, there's something called Sad Cafe.
Something, that one. So, she wrote that. She is in the same kind of, you call a Southern Gothic kind of person.
Yeah.
And like Flannery O'Connor, which I love her.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Flannery O'Connor and, you know about Eudora Welty?
Yep.
Eudora Welty. Her too.
Right on.
So those three. And Truman Capote.
Yeah.
Although I don't know he's much of a Southern Gothic kind of person.
A little bit. I think he's from the South, yeah.
He wrote Breakfast at Tiffany's,
right.
and then he wrote In Cold Blood, and then he wrote another book that it just didn't, I think it ruined his relationship with all the women, or he called Swans.
Right. I haven't seen that show yet.
Yeah,
but,
the Feud show, but it's called something
Murphy.
to do, I'm trying to forget, the title of it is called, maybe you can help me out.
I can look it up.
Yes, that never got, I know it was published, but I reckon it was quite a controversy with the people in his life, the ladies.
Let me see what that book was called. Hold on.
Maybe the
Answer Prayers?
Oh, probably it's that one. Yeah, Answer Prayers.
Yeah. Subtitled The Novel That Scandalized Capote's Women. I haven't seen that show yet, nor have I read, but it seems interesting. And these are the giants on whose shoulders you sit, huh?
Yeah.
And you mentioned in that intro, maybe I'll snap a photo of it if we're driving by later, that in your high school library, not the book, but I'll snap a photo of the high school. Gardena High School, you found James Baldwin, and that was kind of your intro to all of this, right?
Yes.
If Beale Street Could Talk.
Oh, God, it's because at the time, it was in, 2018 and 2019, so those two periods. And at the time, 2018, the movie, the actual movie, Beale Street Could Talk was out.
And you were intrigued by that?
I was intrigued by the trailer. I saw the trailer. I loved the music. I was intrigued, in tune with the music. The visuals, I saw the visuals. It was quite profound. But I was more in tune with the music, more or less.
Interesting.
And so the music was its own character of its own. It was the movie.
It's so interesting. And you're a big music fan, of course, too. And it's something that we've really had in common. Omar, every time you share a song with me, it's reliably a banger, which as an omnivorous music fan myself, it's sometimes hard to find new stuff. And I have to say, a lot of the earworms that a lot of the things I've been listening to the past since meeting you, basically, you've been a huge inspiration in terms of music listening. But anyway, what I meant to say is you're a big television fan, you're a big movie fan, you're a big book fan, you're a big music fan. It's interesting how one thing leads into the other. And what I'm hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm hearing is before you're even an avid reader, maybe even before you're an avid movie watcher, maybe the music draws you into the movie, which draws you into the book. So there's like this, I don't know, I'm just kind of spitballing here, but
go ahead.
The music just grabs you, because music is the most direct of any of those art forms, and then it guides you into the movies.
Yes.
And that can guide you to the book, which, as you talk about in your James Baldwin piece, we grow up, many of us, maybe you're not like this, but many of us grew up thinking of books as kind of boring, or like, just words on a page, but then what you found to your delighted, perhaps, shock was how...
It was quite transgressive.
Yeah, how what's the word? I don't want to... Because it is transgressive and it is dirty even, but it's more than that. It's not lurid. It's how raw and real literature can be. And that's kind of what James Baldwin ended up teaching you. Yeah. Starting from that point, you heard the music on the trailer. And so there's like, would you say there's a direct through line? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, God. I think it was page 13 going down to 17. If anybody's familiar of that page or have read it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I don't want to give out, I don't want to spoil, because I'm not the type, I don't want to spoil anything. But it has to do with a sexual scene, a fornication of some kind. Yeah. A very bizarre fornication. But it just, the way it was written, it was just kind of so absurd, so hysterical, just so raw, but also
humorous.
Humorous.
Yeah, which almost... You almost don't want to say it, but I know what you mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that inspiration comes across a lot in Dingbats, where you're writing about things that are very real and very upsetting, but let's face it, also surreal and funny. And that kind of makes sense. I feel like that's a lot of, and I'm just kind of going off the cuff here, a lot of your influences mirror that in different ways, No one really compares American Horror Story and James Baldwin, but they both do have that characteristic, of being both totally absurd and totally horrifying, and Lynch too in a surreal way. We're
going beyond the boundaries, so to speak.
Somehow transcends it, and it's almost like I would describe Dingbats as surrealism. It's horror at times, it's comedy at times, but it's definitely surrealism, and it's almost like not that we need to worry too much about the definitions, but it's almost like one working definition of surrealism perhaps is where horror meets humor, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's a very
absurdity.
They might call it campy or something like that, but I don't think, because campy is so different. Campy. When I think of campy, I think of a John Waters movie or whatever. Well, whatever happened to Baby Jane wasn't much of a campy movie. People took it as camp, but it was more of a kind of like a sad, like a what's the word for it? Flamboyant Gothic.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Flamboyant Gothic. Yeah, I like that, yeah.
The flamboyancy of it all,
All of these different kind of concepts, whether it's Gothic or flamboyant or surrealism or humor, they all ambulate around just trying to get to the truth of the matter as frankly as possible, right?
Yeah, so that movie, with Bette Davis playing the title character, Baby Jane, and Joan Crawford playing the sister, Blanche Hudson, who she is equally the lead as well, although because she's overlooked, because most of it, Bette Davis, she's more, showy. But there's the subtleties of Crawford, Joan Crawford, is what makes the movie as well too. The elements of horror, because her reactions are quite. She acts with her face and stuff like that. She does it with dialogue. Yeah. Bette Davis, she's just theatrical. She's more. She works with the body too.
I've never seen the movie, I admit.
If you watch the movie, you can see the two different, polarities of the two ladies. They're both Aries women, but their both acting styles are so different. If you understand what I mean. Bette Davis, she goes out there. She just doesn't care what the way she looks and stuff. She just goes out there. Joan Crawford, she's put together, concise, just put together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't call her a Barbie doll, but she's like the emulating parts of the 1930s or the 1920s or 40s. You know.
Yeah, that kind
So,
of what's the word?
her formula of acting is in
Yeah.
that way. Well, you know, it's quite unique her way because she just worked with her face. The silent era. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that kind of those mannerisms.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that movie is what intrigued me, just visually, artistically, and just dialogue. Yes, God, the dialogue is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, when she says, "Hey, but you are in that chair. But you are." She's telling her sister, "You are in that chair," because Blanche tells Jane, "I wouldn't. You wouldn't be doing all these terrible things to me if I weren't in this chair." And then she says, "But you are in that chair."
That kind of smart alecky, or maybe
Yeah.
that's the wrong word. I don't know. But yeah, I see that reflected in the dialogue in Dingbats, where you have people with different degrees of neurosis, different kinds of perspectives on things, kind of
Hysteria.
duking it out. You know, hysteria at times. You know, duking it out with each other, and there's competing views of reality that are trying to win out, and obviously people doing horrible things to each other, trying to get one up on each other, but also there's moments of tenderness in Dingbats as well. There's friendship, there's love, it's all in there. So it's not all dark and grim.
A love-hate relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. God, Dingbats.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It's amazing. I love it.
It's gonna be a success. You know. Yeah.
You know, it's already a success.
Yeah,
because,
that's the good way of looking at it.
you know, financially maybe, you know, it may a couple dollars here and there, but just as it is, it's just fine as it is. And I'm glad that it's out there. And I know the audience may not be my audience, and there will be that one person who might, you know, understand it. And if I can do that,
Right.
I did my job.
Right. That's the right approach.
You can't always please everybody, and I have to. We all have to learn that and accept it. You know, can't always please everybody.
Absolutely.
There's always a certain demographic.
Right.
So I don't know who my demographic is.
Right.
But I will find out when the book is out.
Absolutely.
And when they read it.
And the other thing to keep in mind, I'm not saying you don't know this, but the one thing that I've been told and that I think is true, that I've lived to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, it's what's the word? It's a distance run. It's not a sprint. Like, it's not about how many books you sell on the first day it's available. It's about putting the work out there, and then maybe you publish 3-4 more books, and no one really starts reading Dingbats for another 4 or 5 years. But then, when for some reason it pops off, it's there, and then it's not about the overnight success. It's about putting the work out, putting good work out, ideally keeping working. Although some people just drop their one book off and then they're done. I mean, I'm not saying that's not valid, but I know that you're already working on other stuff.
Yes.
And you keep working at it. Eventually, people will find it. Eventually, people will find this podcast. Whether it's in 1 year or 10. Probably. That's how I feel about it. I think you're doing interesting work, and I
that's
think
fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
In the future, it'll catch us by surprise, and it'll be a happy surprise.
I think so. Yeah. A lot of good things happen. Many good things happen when you stop wanting them to happen. as a rule, right?
Heck, even the book. Maybe the book might be famous or successful when I'm dead. Probably. Hope not, but that's okay. I can live with that. People might appreciate the book when I'm gone, and I can live.
We never know. Once it's in the
know.
universe, it's out of our hands in a weird way.
So I'm leaving it to the universe. I'm leaving it to the people to receive it. It's for them to read it intimately, privately, and take out of what they read and incorporate it or whatever in their life. And because it's none of my business for me to know what they're thinking. It ain't my business.
Yeah.
So it's for them to know what they think.
Yep. So much of it's just in God's hands, right?
Right. So who am I to tell? Sure. That's not preaching this, that, the other. No way, Jose. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to that kind of stuff. Just I think this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, look, we got to be our own PR people. We got to give ourselves we got to give ourselves a good shake and put our work out there. But
Right.
it's important to be able to do that and then relax at the end of the day.
And be humble.
Be humble.
Humble about
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, I don't want to mention his name, but you know who a certain person I'm talking about. Might be maybe two people who I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course, it's
You
more
have
than
no-
one. Yeah.
Yes, are kind of little. They're quite a puff, and
Yeah.
that kind of behavior does not appeal to me.
Yeah.
That kind of way does not appeal to me. It's just to me it's assholism.
Yeah.
Who gives
Yeah.
a shit?
Yeah.
Who gives a flying F-U-C-K?
Yeah.
No, nobody, You ain't a Greek statue, and you certainly ain't Jesus Christ Almighty, so who gives a F-U-C-K?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's a fair enough sentiment.
No, indeed.
Well, we talked dingbats, and we can keep talking about it, but I guess we could set the scene a little bit.
Okay. God,
We're in the South Bay Galleria,
as we speak, indeed.
which you grew up coming to this mall, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
from the years, man. A lot has, kind of changed store-wise. Structure, not really.
Yeah, I can tell that the structure, we're kind
Still
of
the
the floor
same.
here. Probably built in the 80s, I imagine.
Somewhere like in the 80s
Yeah.
or 70s, I suspect.
Yeah.
Because you can even tell that kind the way it's just look, it's 70s or 80s kind of look.
Yeah, tubular. I will be posting pictures,
Yeah.
so
You
the audience can see.
The ceiling. It's a very old ceiling.
Yeah, yeah. Very, what's the word? Very,
Oh,
sorry, I just moved the thing.
That's fine.
Corrugated. No, corrugated is the wrong word. It's, I'll post a picture.
Yes.
My architectural vocabulary is failing me.
it's
Yeah.
like being in an exhibition of some kind, an old exhibition. Have
Yeah.
you seen these little whatchamacallit? I think it was based on one of the royal family, the queen. I don't know which queen. I think Alexandra Palace.
Oh, the Crystal Palace?
Yes,
maybe? Yeah,
that
that's what it's
one.
based on?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
The way
yeah.
it looks like Alexandra Palace.
Yeah, no, for sure. And last time we hung out, we went to the Del Amo Mall.
Yes.
And, I mean, that mall is still pretty active. That's the second biggest
man.
mall in California.
So
This one, I mentioned when we came in that it feels a little bit
depressing.
empty. But also, I don't know. There's families here. There's the store. There's many stores that seem still active. So this
Yes.
place still has a pulse, but it also feels old. And anyway, I just want to say, and I want to transition a little bit to not that this is the main interest of people listening to this pod, but I want to talk a little bit about the history of some of this area and the
course.
extent you know about it.
Torrance, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're in Torrance, right?
Yeah, we're in Torrance, California.
Basically, this mall and Del Amo are like very classic South Bay malls, right?
Yes.
That were. I mean, I suppose.
And the
yeah.
Carson Pavilion.
Yeah, but maybe I don't know if we'll go there today, but another time.
Probably another
Yeah,
time.
I was
but
listening to-
It's
yeah.
one mall that doesn't have a upstairs or downstairs. It's just one flat, kind of long pavilion of its kind. It's like being at a palace. It is a palace, and this palace has lots of shops, and the court jesters are the people who work there, or it's like the managers is the emperor or the empress of this palace,
Yeah.
or whoever owns the building. I don't know who owns the building though.
Yeah.
That is the emperor. So when I go there, I like to imagine that it's kind of like a palace in a way.
Yeah.
It's kind of, just being anywhere feels like royalty.
Yeah, that's the thing with malls is they have that regal element to them, where anyone can go and feel like a king. Maybe
Yeah.
that's too much, but there's something about that with malls. There really is. It's a way for the middle. It's a gathering place for kind of the middle class in a way.
Yeah.
To kind of elevate. And people are skeptical of consumerism and capitalism.
Take a load off and have a good
But
time.
there is something redeeming and cool and worthy of nostalgia in that, I think, because malls are dying.
Yeah, it's a dying breed,
It is. Yeah.
unfortunately.
indeed.
God.
Yeah.
All the stores and some of the stores in America are dying off.
Yeah. What do you think it is? It's Amazon mostly?
It could be that because people are shopping online, which I can understand.
Yeah,
that.
it's convenient, and I do it myself. But
I haven't done much of it. Shopping online. Just to be frank, I don't even know how to use it.
Well, yeah.
I have to ask one of my siblings.
It's convenient,
to help me.
But it also is nice to go out still. Because, look, we're...
I like to do it old school, just go and out shop for myself because I know what I like. And when I get something online, maybe it will arrive and it'll be something that I do not like. It doesn't fit me or things like that.
That's so funny that you bring it up because I'm just remembering, I hadn't thought about this till now. And this isn't that interesting, but it's a little bit deja vu and funny. Last night I had a dream that I ordered a bunch of stuff from Amazon, including a sweater, and it came filled with holes. Ooh. So I had to return it. Now that's not that interesting of a dream. Right. It's a pretty boring dream.
No, I get it.
But it's interesting that it came up when you said that. Yeah. But yeah, to continue setting the scene a little bit, and to your point,
Yes.
Yes, it's convenient to shop online, but we're here in South by Galleria in the food court. I got some chilaquiles from this weird deli place, and admittedly, it probably wasn't the best chilaquiles I've ever had. But
I'll
the
cook
people
for you.
Omar claims you can make them better, and I believe it.
I'll cook for you.
But the people were friendly, and I'm here recording with Omar. People are walking by. They're probably hearing us, thinking, "What are they talking about?"
Nutcases.
Maybe we're playing we're playing Chutes and Ladders.
Chutes and Ladders.
We're kind of big game.
Love Candyland.
Candyland's great too.
Oh, we gotta get it. I have to go to the store and buy Candyland.
Yeah,
that would be fun. I haven't played board games with anybody in ages. I've been trying to get people to play with me, but nobody wants to play with me. So most of the time, if I do play games, it's mostly solitaire.
Oh, solitaire is a great one. Do you want to continue this game while we record?
Sure.
I think it was your turn.
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe it'll get away in the way of the podcast, but we can always trim it out.
Oh, God.
All of that was to say...
3.
Omar's going to move
go
ahead.
ahead.
3. All of that was to say you can't sit with a buddy in the food court and play Chutes and Ladders when you're shopping on Amazon.
Right.
6.
So that's the fun of it at malls, that you can just sit and have a good time with a friend.
5, 6. Indeed.
And just share experiences and get to know the person. In a way, I have to say this, you've become... 1, 2, 3. Okay. I was going to say...
Oh, yeah. That goes directly backward. Yeah.
In a way, you have become family to me.
Oh, thank you for saying so. I feel the same, even though we've only known each other a few months.
I've only met you, in a few months, you and Evan, and I feel like I've known you forever.
Yeah. Well, certain things feel faded,
Exactly. So, yes. I'm happy you and everybody else have become a second family to me.
Yeah.
Chris, Evan, Ella, Joey. 1, 2.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And so many others that online have become a second family, and I appreciate that.
No,
I
it's
appreciate
wonderful.
their 2 cents, what they tell me.
Yeah.
And I know I'm sure it's coming from the heart and good intentions, and that is what I appreciate.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I want somebody to tell me what they're thinking, and their honesty is important to me.
Yeah.
You would want to do the same thing to others. Be honest to them. Give them that consideration. So I value that.
Yeah.
And I do, and I value our friendship and, in a way, family.
For sure.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Still
keep on going on the line here with the Chutes and Ladders.
Number 3. 1, 2, 3. 58.
Let's see what I get here. 4. All right.
Number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's been a while since I've hit
yes.
a chute or a ladder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been an awful long. The last time I played this game was in 2008.
2008? It's been that long?
Yeah, I remember. I played it with my granny, my uncles, but my grandpa, we were in I don't know if it was South Carolina or North Carolina, but it was in Virginia.
You have relatives there, right?
Yeah, they lived there in Virginia, and some live in Texas, and some live in Arizona, and one in Florida, one in Massachusetts, one in Mexico, one in El Salvador, and folks here. And I got another one who works at a circus, who travels around.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I got relatives scattered around America.
Nice.
So anyway, in Virginia, 2008, we were playing Chutes and Ladders, but it was a different version of this game.
Yeah.
It looked so different, what I can recall. The board was a white kind of board. It was a little bigger, white, and these little characters were very different. The design
That's what I was. Yeah, I the version I played was much older, and the board was white. I remember. Maybe it was the same version. Mm-hmm. But it's similar things where it like show people reaching for the top shelf for a cookie and then falling. Mm-hmm. The ice skating thing, which is retained here, I remember. Always, it's classic.
I recall that, so it was fun. That was my introduction to Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah, so I guess the game is supposed to teach you morality a little bit, right?
In a way, yes. Shoot and
do good deeds, get higher. Do bad or irresponsible deeds, go lower.
In a way, I got this from a movie. If you heard the movie Philomena, you watched the movie?
No, I haven't.
Well, in the scene where Judi Dench tells this guy, the guy who's helping her out, I don't remember his name, but I didn't care to remember. But she says to him, because he was very angry and frustrated, he was very frustrated with the waitress in the scene. She tells him, you should be nicer to the people on the way up because you might meet them again on the way down. You of all people should understand that.
Yeah.
Because in a way, you should be nicer to the people on the way out. On the way up, because you will meet them again, and you might meet them again on the way down when you're in your lowest point.
And Chutes and Ladders makes that literal sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So be kind and be respectful and considerate to the people on the way up.
Yeah, it's good advice.
Yeah. So I never forgot that. I always remember that. It just stuck by me like a piece of gum. Glue, I should say. One. God. Okay.
Let's see how far I can get here. 2.
Number 2.
Oh, and I can already see what's going to happen. You old ice skating incident. Yeah. Omar's pretty healthily ahead at this point. 6.
6. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, almost
65.
Yeah.
65 on its way.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. 31. Oh, God.
Reroll.
Okay, number 5.
Yeah, 5.
If you got it. Move.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 70.
Making your way. All right, let's see. 1. Well, not going anywhere fast with that. Actually, wait, I moved backward, didn't I?
No,
no.
You're 31.
Yeah.
6.
6.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 76.
Yeah.
Oh, golly.
2. 1, 2.
1, 2. Oh, man. All right. Number 2.
2.
All right, let's see.
Puts you at the bottom, but
278.
Yeah.
Say, my laughter reminded me of a experience I had at Soho Warehouse. Remember?
Should I re-roll that?
Sure. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You reckon Soho Warehouse?
Oh yeah, Soho House.
Man,
Yeah.
that was where it was in. We call this area in Los Angeles that was
Downtown near Cochoni's, right?
Yeah, quite.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it dirty. That's kind of just distasteful.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We're talking about downtown LA. It's
there's quite
not quite clean.
Yeah, and I just learned the word gentrified.
Gentrified.
Yeah, gentrified. Gentrification. I learned a new word there.
They're saying that area is gentrified. I mean, if it's got a Soho
that
House.
one building. I thought at first it was some kind of hotel. I don't know if it's a hotel.
That tall one near the Staples Center.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
kind of big.
That's
building.
all graffitied all over.
I think so.
Maybe. Either way, yeah, they're building a lot of high rises. And
Yes.
Things. Yeah.
So that area is so funny. So I went there to attend a reading, and it was from this lady named Nada Alec. I think that's her last name. Nada Alec. She wrote
Yeah.
a book. I didn't read her book, but I just went there for, I guess, for the reading and
Fellowship.
and just to have a good time.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I went there, and I hope she's listening. But I was there. I remember I was sitting in the middle of the room, and I felt. It just had a feeling. It just felt so. I don't want to even spitball here, but I want to be frank here. I'm choosing my words wisely. I have to be careful of what I say, because what I say may be, I don't know, just.
Words have consequences.
Yes, it does have
I'm
a
sure
consequence.
you're fine, but
indeed.
yeah.
I'm trying to choose my words wisely,
Yeah.
but just the whole thing was an artistic smash.
Yeah.
And I felt like a different person. I felt like I felt regal.
Regal. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to puff myself up, but I felt, I felt like worthwhile.
Yeah,
Having a
like
good
you were
time by
part of
myself.
something,
Like
or
I was
people knew you were.
participating in
Yeah.
a way. Oh, I had this.
Participating.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's key, right?
I just had that kind of feeling. I wanted to get up there and just read and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
well,
just
soon,
talk to
soon.
people.
Yeah.
And it just was a calling to me. I don't know. It's kind of in my intuition was speaking to me in a way. Instincts was speaking to me.
Yeah.
If you have that instinct, if you feel it in your heart, your brain too, but your heart and your brain may not be connected, and it should be. It should be, because it's
Yeah.
But my heart felt like I wanted to just be part and read and get to know the people, even though I can get to know the people off the stage and stuff, but it wasn't a stage. But anyway, I'm
I
rambling
get what
on.
you're saying. Yeah, it's a calling.
It was
Vocation.
a calling. It felt so weird. I don't know how I can describe it.
And that event in particular?
Yeah, and that Shawnee was there, but he met
Right,
me in
yeah.
the last minute. Well, it finished, but at the time I saw the lady who played in the Chucky movies. She was there.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's her name?
The daughter of Chucky. The Brad Dorff, the daughter, Fiona Dorff.
Fiona Dorff,
She was
yeah.
a very nice lady. The Fiona Dorff lady, she played Danica Pierce in The Curse of Chucky,
Oh,
The Cult of Chucky, and then the Chucky series.
Interesting.
So-
was she reading, or she was just an attendant?
No, she was there in the audience. I sat
Yeah.
around, we were in the same
you
kind of
recognized
row.
her?
Yeah, I recognized her. At first
Because you're a horror movie junkie.
yes.
Yeah.
It kind of turned around. I thought it was not Mackenzie, sorry. I thought it was Mix Carley, one of the speech therapists at Willenburg CTC, because she looked a lot like Mix Carley.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, Mix Carley, how you doing? But then I thought that would be kind of awkward to just say, because, it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would say it, but that would be... Anyway, but then I'd pay attention and look, and facial features, hair, because they have the same kind of look. She dressed just like her. And I think it was the aesthetic of it all.
Yeah, interesting. Teacherly.
No,
Or not even.
it was more of a... How can I put this? It was... She dressed punky.
Punky. Yeah.
And Mix Carley, what I can recall, she dressed punky too, she had that kind of aesthetic, a punk rock aesthetic, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like down to earth, so to speak. But anyway, I wanted to speak to Mix Carley or Fiona Dorff. And I thought, no, I don't, that wouldn't be appropriate. But I noticed her. And what I noticed was just the laughter is what got to me. That is her.
Yeah.
And so I laughed, and my laughter just sounded like the Chucky, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird, but I didn't want to do it intentionally. It's just naturally.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we're
And it
kind of
came
the
out.
same genes or something.
Yeah.
Him and I
You
don't
and
know.
Chucky. Yeah.
Him and Brad Dorff. Maybe
Yeah.
it's because he's from. I reckon he's from Virginia. I don't know if it's Virginia or want to recall. Is it St. Louis? I'm trying to recall where he was born.
The
I know
actor?
it's in the
Yeah.
South, somewhere in the
Brad
South.
Dorff. I can
Yeah,
look it
Brad
up.
Dorff. But his laughter, just the way he spoke, is the way I spoke.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm looking him up. Yeah, Brad Dorff. Yeah. Yep, West Virginia.
West Virginia. Yep. So when I was laughing, we were both in a laughing contest because the readers were reading kind of funny stuff.
Yeah.
And so I just couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself. The stuff. One guy wrote a kind of a recreation fan fiction of Fatal Attraction.
Oh, really?
A script.
Interesting.
He was because most of these people who read were kind of like industry people.
Yeah.
From the industry.
Right. That's what. Yeah. Soho House is that kind of spot.
So this one lady.
Talk
she
about
worked,
gentrifying. Just kidding.
But yes, one lady who read. She worked in a show called something to do with Friends and Adult Swim. Smiling Friends. Is it that the show?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think,
I've never
on
seen
Adult
that, but
Swim.
I'm sure it's fun. Yeah.
She had kind of like a mousy, kind of friendly, mousy, but more eccentric, small, kind of a petite lady, but she had an eccentric, mousy voice, dark but quite delightful.
Interesting.
If I can describe it. And she read a kind of a funny and dark piece. And then another guy, individual. Well, I don't want to call him a fella or lady because, the individual identify as they. So I want to be respectful. I'm being respectful. I got to be.
Yeah.
I have to be respectful. So, the individual, the person who read the recreation fan fiction of Fatal Attraction but in the recreation of it, like a kind of this weird reboot of some kind. This fan fiction it's two grown men.
Yeah.
The homosexuals.
Yeah.
But it was very nice. It was it was a very kind of a
it
funny, but a very
Fatal Attraction's an interesting one. Yeah.
A very interesting take on it, which I applaud that person who wrote it. I do. I laughed the most on that one. That was funny.
It was funny, yeah.
And then there was another lady. I guess she's a musician. Her and I, we were in tune. Her poem. She read a couple of poems here and there, something to do with the giving tree.
Huh.
And then, because we locked eyes, and I was so in tune and focused on what she was saying, and I'm trying to recall what she was saying. But I can recall as she wrote and read a poem of the giving tree. I guess her take of the giving tree, and then another one about I think it was a wall.
A wall.
Yeah, that's what my frame of reference is getting at. A wall, then giving tree, and just this tall woman. She could be like a dead ringer to Christine Baranski, if the actress Christine Baranski from The Good Wife. I think that the show. Have you seen The Good Wife?
A little bit.
Yeah. So she's like a younger version of her. Anyway, her and I knew what she was saying, and I knew exactly. It just clicked right off the bat, word for word, bing, 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 and that kind of writing is what appealed to me. It's just I get it. It just.
What was the story about?
One was about the giving tree. I think
you
her
said
poem.
this. Yeah.
And I think most of it is connected to it. The feeling of it all, the rhythm of it all too, is what I got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Then some other people read, Nada read, but hers, it was humorous. One was deadpan but humorous. Gotcha. Deadpan humor I like. I enjoyed that. I get what she was. My interpretation or my critique is what it was deadpan and humor. That's what she was getting at from my interpretation. Then another guy wrote some kind of fan fiction about Taylor Swift. If he, that was kind of weird, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, if he and Taylor Swift were in a way, I guess he took care. If he would, if Taylor Swift died, he would take care of her children.
Oh wow!
Weird. Be like the take care.
He doesn't even have children. I don't think.
I don't know. This is his fantasy.
Sure.
Be the caretaker. God, caretaker of her children.
Interesting.
And I recall this scene about the end is that the daughter is singing a song that Taylor Swift sang, and how she died in this fan fiction fantasy is she died from a plane crash.
Interesting.
Which is kind of bizarre, but it makes sense because it sounds like what Patsy Cline died from, a plane crash, and then Richie Valens did he die from a plane crash too?
I think so.
Yeah. Because I want to be accurate here, so I don't want to give any.
Let me see.
Then there's what's his name who sang "Lonesome Town." If you heard the song. In the town of broken dreams, you would learn to forget. Maybe down in Lonesome Town, I would learn to forget. That one. He died from a plane crash.
Yeah, Richie Valens did die of that. Yeah, as did Ricky Nelson.
That's his name, Ricky Nelson. Richard. He died too. So it makes sense he would put a plane crash. Kind of, for me, it's kind of generic. I don't know, like kind of.
I mean, it happens, but maybe a little bit generic for a pop star, especially.
Yeah. So it just makes sense. But anyway,
Leonard Skinner too.
Yeah,
the band.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what happened. It was kind of a weird Friday, and then another one read, I think some kind of work she wrote, but I didn't get the gist of it all, so I didn't really pay attention. I zoned out on that one.
Yeah.
But she read too, but the whole thing was very interesting.
Interesting.
But anyway.
I think you got to move ahead forward here.
Yeah. Oh, but anyway, God, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. What was I going to say? Oh, never mind. Keep going.
One,
right,
two,
this way,
three.
right?
Oh, sorry.
No,
Thank
all
you
good,
so
all
much.
good.
1, 2, 3. Man, I would have won.
I was going to say, yeah, you would have won. Do you think that's your favorite event you've been to?
Oh, or
it's hard to compare.
I can't compare it all, but I have to say my favorite's got to be
the recent one. Or you tell me. But.
No, March 8th, Friday.
Oh, of course. I know what you're saying.
That one is an iconic.
That was kind of the first one? Or was the first one?
No, not the first one, but for me it's iconic.
Yeah.
The one that I really enjoyed. You know.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because I did attend. I'm trying to recall. I attended one. I've attended many events, but the first event I attended was at an Old Town pub in August of 2023. It was the help of my job coach Jesse, who spoke to the manager of the place. His name is Tiny, but he's this big feller who's a bald.
Yeah.
Anyway, he helped me get me to sell art there at the little joint.
Nice.
It was nice,
yeah,
but
hopefully more of that in the future.
Yeah,
too,
it was really. I liked it, but it ended until 12, so I wasn't so crazy about going all the way till 12 a.m.
I know people. I'm a little bit of an early to bed, early to rise.
Yeah, you and me both.
Myself, yeah.
But anyway, that was the beginning. Then I attended another event called Coaxial Arts over there, and it was a Gooch House.
Gooch House.
Yeah, Gooch House, the people. And I associated and acquainted with some of those people. And I acquainted with one individual who I took with me at the Car Crash Collective in West Hollywood. Anyway.
Right, the weed thing.
Yeah.
The weed bar.
Yeah. He works at a coffee joint, a coffee shop. I don't want to mention the coffee shop where he works. Maybe that'll be kind of like disrespectful. And maybe he wouldn't want that, but he works there. It's in downtown Los Angeles, downtown Central, and I met him at his job because he said, meet me at my acquaintance so we can hitch the train back to my place. So he lives in North Hollywood.
Okay,
so
that's near where I live.
We took the train to North Hollywood.
And then he grabbed you.
Yeah, he drove me to West Hollywood to Cannabis Cafe, where I met in person Aaron and Brett.
Right.
And that was on, I reckon, April. That was in April.
Yeah.
And it was so different, I will say.
Interesting.
It was so different from the event I went to with Chris, where I attended Chris's lunch party March 8th, Friday, and the one with CarCrest Collective, and it was on a Tuesday, and somewhere in April. I want to recall which part of April on a Tuesday. It's either got to be, I want to say the 14th or the 16th. I may be wrong, but it was on a Tuesday, I recall. And I remember, oh God, oh jeepers. But I recall being there, all happy, hunky-dory, myself and whatnot, and going in there, and I'm just, I just recall the bartender. She was so nice, and I told her, you know, you look an awful lot, her name is Carly, the bartender.
Yeah.
You look a dead ringer like that Drew Barrymore, and she tells me. That's
at Monty Bar, right?
No,
this was different. Okay.
No, that is very different. But she says, "Now I get that a lot, but thank you though." Yeah. And I told her, well, I introduced myself, and my introduction, I always tell people, I have a long ass name. I do apologize on that, but it's long, so I'm going to keep it short. My name is Omar De Jesus Quintanilla Jr., but you can call me Mr. Omar King for short, because it condenses to my last name.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, I'm rambling on and on, so I'm trying to.
Yeah.
So anyway, I can recall being there, and it was like being in the setting of a high school, like being in a movie, of a very cliche movie, if you get just the idea of what I'm getting at. The whole setting was being in a cafeteria, quaint indeed. And I recall sitting there, and what's his name got me a drink. He got me a red wine. I asked for red wine, but I shouldn't be drinking too much because it's no good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not done. Yeah, moderation is fine.
Indeed, but it's no good.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Anyway, that wine did the gist. You know, it gave me a boost of confidence drinking.
Yeah.
And I recall being there, being hunky-dory, just loose and whatnot, telling people, hey, how you doing? Very nice to meet you. I shook their hands and introduced myself. I introduced myself to Aaron. I introduced myself to, I reckon Chandler was there.
Right.
She said she recognized me there. I recognized her face, but I didn't remember her name.
Yeah. Well, it's confusing because there's two Chandlers.
Yes. And then I introduced myself to Uriel, the photographer for them. Yeah, he was very nice. What I recall at the time, because I'm very observant with the details, when I watch, it's kind of scary because I'm looking at people, and it's like a blessing and a curse, you know?
Yeah.
Looking at people, because it's quite intimidating looking at people, and I can observe their body language, the way they move, the way they sit, the way they speak, even the way they look, quite attentive or quite evasive and whatnot. He was very, what I can recall, he was very evasive.
The photographer.
Yeah. He seemed quite, I wouldn't say nervous. Maybe naturally everybody's nervous, but he seemed like, just like, I don't know how just the word was evasive. And I said, that's all right. Don't be nervous. You know, it's okay. It's a very interesting. It's a fun night. Have a good time. You know, let loose a little. You know.
Yeah. And wine can help with that, but then it also sometimes makes you feel sick. Huh?
Yes. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, I think it's your go.
Thank you.
Want to hit it?
I want to finish this game.
Me too.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your turn.
Glad you didn't get sick.
Once this game is done, that's done.
Yeah, and we walk around a little bit.
Yes. Anyway, I recall, he was a very nice individual, but he was more a very disquieted character. Evasive.
Oh, I've had the worst luck this
God, that's okay.
Yeah, you know, so you come across some people at these events who are evasive and some that are very friendly. It just depends, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 91.
Thank God. I thought you were going to go down. Okay, let's see. Oh, wait, I'll go again. That was too weak.
That was a week. Yes.
5.
You got this. You got
1,
this.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Anyway,
I don't think I've gotten a lad this entire game.
1.
Ooh, you're good.
93.
Almost in the clear.
Yeah. But I reckon the whole thing just felt like being in a cafeteria setting.
Yeah.
And in a high
1,
school,
2,
like
3, 4, 5, 6.
Ironically, I was the one who's, I was conservative looking.
Yeah.
But I was more of
because there's a punky aesthetic to these.
Yeah, everybody dressed, punky and whatnot, and it's okay, that's fine. But they all dress the same.
Interesting.
Ironic. Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. So you stand out for dressing conservatively.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I know how that is. I mean, I'm in this freaking sweater. And,
Anyway.
People say I look square. It's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I recall one person in the crowd because I was dancing. I was let loose, dancing, cutting a rug, jumping and whatnot. I was just. If you saw that one footage of me, because one of the DJs recorded me, and I recall they paid attention to me, and I asked them, do you take requests? I mean, do you take song requests? No, the internet, something, but I basically just practically no, because something to do with the internet, and also I'm sure they can take requests. Maybe he didn't have good access, so he had to have a preloaded playlist or something. That's what I'm getting at, So I said, fine, that's all right. The music was kind of, I don't know who put the list of requested, whatever the music they collected, it was quite, and they agreed too that it was a piece of shit. I mean,
mainstream rap.
No hate to it, but I mean,
not your stuff.
It was a piece of shit. I'm sorry. But I danced to it regardless.
Yeah. How would you describe your taste in music? Because it's eclectic.
I like to listen to all sorts of music.
Yeah.
I know what I like, and I stick to it, and I dance to it.
Yeah.
I just like the rhythm of it all.
Yeah.
This one did not have any rhythm. It was more like the
thudding.
Like that. I'm trying to find the rhythm to dance to it. So I made up my own rhythm to it, Trying to find the kind of rhythm of the whole song. So I was the only one dancing to the music, and that's why one of the DJs...
Make your own kind of music, right?
Yeah, make your own kind of music. Recorded me dancing because, everybody was so, ironically, square.
Yeah.
They were so square.
Appearances can be deceiving.
It sure has. And that was a turning, kind of like a learning experience for me. Meaning,
about letting loose, maybe.
Letting loose.
Was that the first time you danced like that in public, or you're no stranger to that?
Well, I'm no stranger, but it was it is my first time. But I have danced in school dances in Willenburg.
I see.
But not in public places like that.
Not in front of strangers.
No. But anyway, I was dancing. And I was dancing. I was sweating like not pigs don't sweat, sweating like a dog. I was all perspiring and whatnot. I just didn't care. I just moved, jump around, this, that, the other. I was just in the zone. Auto zone. Yeah. Anyway. And one person, or maybe one person and another person, they were talking together. And I recall hearing their voices. There's a blonde, some kind of blonde, and some skinny person, also kind of like slender, skinny person. They had an eccentric look, kind of punchy look to them, but they all look the same with that aesthetic, regardless, One, they commented the way I spoke. One said that I was Southern. Okay. The other one said I was ghetto.
Seems to be a contradiction.
Ain't that
a little bit, right? Yeah.
The other one said I was trashy.
They were
trashy.
They were talking smack, basically.
Talking smack.
I wonder why.
I was trashy, ghetto, Southern. I know you can be Southern and ghetto at the same time. Who would have thought it? The other person said, I guess they commented the way I just looked or behaved because one said that I was retarded or something.
They just said this right in front of you?
No.
Oh, you just heard it.
Snickering behind my back. That's the thing about certain people. When I go to these places, they snicker.
Yeah,
they
well,
snicker.
God, I'm sorry. You wouldn't think that something like
I thought everybody would be,
nice
abrasive.
and a lot of people have, right?
Yeah,
but,
everybody were.
Yeah, well, fuck those other people.
Yeah, but they were the other. But because I went to another Car Crash Collective reading, it was very different.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one too in Chinatown. That was so different than the one in West Hollywood. Anyway, but it was kind of. I'm sorry. I did have a good time, but I'm sorry it just wasn't.
That one was not as good.
No, it left a bad taste in my mouth.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And everybody was such a puff. I'm telling you, so rigid. I know I can be rigid, but I have to let loose and have fun.
Everyone was there for themselves, or something.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like they were just so afraid.
Were
Not
they
like
stoned?
afraid.
was that the issue? No, usually stoned would get you in an opposite mindset.
Right, but they were more like because I was right there. I was right there.
Yeah.
I will say, I was like everybody's so hyper. I was in their faces and whatnot like that. 'Cause I was dancing. It's a party. It's supposed to be a party. You have to have a good time, let loose, and dance. What's the point of a party,
And you were the only one doing it.
Yeah, and they were like, all on the crowd.
Smoking cigarettes and weed. And
God, this blows. What kind of a place is this? And you're supposed to let loose and have fun because it's Cannabis Cafe, the word cannabis. I didn't smoke, but I let loose.
Yeah.
But that was an experience that left a bad taste in my mouth.
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no.
And the game marches on. Got pulling a cat's tail chute here.
Yeah, I learned a lesson. I learned a lesson that not everybody's going to be quite friendly and nice in these places.
Yeah,
they're quite cold, and
no matter their ostensibly pro-difference appearance,
and quite Jesus. I'm trying to think of another word. Passively aggressive too.
Yeah,
nice, but very, very passive.
There's a
very passive,
fakeness to that niceness. Yeah.
Fake. I don't like that.
I mean,
very
listen,
much.
I've witnessed it my whole time ever being involved in any kind of countercultural exploit. You have, I don't know if it'd be fair to call them posers, but that's a related issue maybe, where it's people who are there to look cool, basically.
But
aren't actually
my thing is just
to know people.
Don't be an asshole. Be kind to your friend.
Yeah.
Be kind to your neighbor. Be kind to the stranger. It's always nice to break bread with strangers.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
One. Yeah. Oh, maybe you get a 1 next time and you win it.
But I had an awesome time at the Chinatown.
I think that's the 3rd time I've gotten that one. Yeah, so these are hit or miss sometimes. But,
yeah.
I won. Omar won it.
I won.
All right. Finally, maybe a little change of setting here. We can walk around a little more. I'll pause the recording.
What do you want to play?
I Go to Sleep by Annika. Let's see if this works.
I Go to Sleep by Annika, now playing on Spotify.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 2 versions. I love Peggy Lee and that one.
Is that the original one?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we'll maybe play the Peggy Lee one next. A little traffic here.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to... We'll see if we hit Sunken City before it's too dark, but it'll be fine.
Oh, sure. Sunken City. I gotta keep in mind. Gotta be careful a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, especially with the
when you want to go inside, you have to hold on to the rail because there's a long steep going down to the ocean.
Sounds.
So you might slip and fall. So you have to hold on to the rail as much as you can, so you can go to the other side.
Sounds daunting, but worthwhile.
Yeah. And excuse me.
All good.
and there's a trail area in that area, which is kind of, I don't know how I managed to go this, that, but I did it with Steven and Sebastian, and I'm like, God. But they
Cool.
go.
Those are your associates from work, right?
My associates from work, they're good kids. Those two boys, they do make me proud.
Good.
I have to say, they do make me proud, but I mean, I tried to connecting, calling and stuff, but they're very busy, so I understand that. So lately I felt like we've been kind of like straying away.
I'll say, they still work with you?
Oh, yeah, they work.
But they're, separate.
Yeah. And I get it, I understand. I saw them at their Halloween party I attended.
Right, a couple weeks ago.
Where I was Blotto.
Oh, yeah. Were you Blotto?
Well,
yeah.
Blotto
By your standards, I was going to say,
yeah. I felt it, though, but I wasn't like,
Yeah.
I just...
Sluggish a little.
Sluggish.
That's the thing. Sometimes alcohol can be very agreeable, but I don't know, especially as I've gotten older, like, it kind of makes me just sluggish and headachy a little bit.
Yeah, so no thank you.
Yeah.
And I drank all these special drinks, one that tasted like Gatorade called...
Jungle Juice, was it? No.
Oh, you know about those?
Oh, yeah, it's a classic party drink, and oftentimes it's stronger than it should be.
Well, it didn't even... What's wrong for me? It tasted like shit. Like Gatorade.
Yeah.
What is this? And then I drank a Biggie and a Beatbox, and I drank the Modelo watermelon version flavor.
That sounds good, but beer, I don't know, I used to love beer, but it kind of makes me feel bloated,
Exactly, I don't want it, but I had to, and...
Yeah, a little bit of peer pressure.
Oh, of course, you're going to get peer pressure regardless.
Yeah.
Just got to be aware and find a way to move around.
Well, you did end up drawing the line when it came to puffing blunt or whatever.
Yeah. Ooh,
you smoked weed before or no?
No.
Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
This would be a great place to throw a party.
It would. What is that?
I think it's some kind of building. Like they renovate buildings or lease buildings, like for an office or whatnot. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh, but I've never done the blunt or the green lattice.
Yeah, I can't really fully recommend it. Makes me super anxious. I've definitely also had some interesting experiences with it, but...
How so?
Okay, I'll tell you some stories. First time I ever did was in high school, and very little happened. But then the next time, it was after my high school prom, and I smoked way too much, way too fast, and I was like...
Before and after the prom?
Yeah, it was after, but just like...
Whom?
Just friends of mine at the time, none of whom I know anymore. This was in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Long ago, in a way. And I just got really, really stoned. And I'm actually surprised I didn't freak out more, because it was, like, very strong. But I also drank a lot, so I think that maybe I was just, like, out of it and thought I was dreaming. And then I didn't really get high again until I was in... oh, look at these Trump flags.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah. Pretty. I've seen more of those Trump stuff, like, this year than before.
Now.
Right. But I kind of decided I wasn't going to smoke weed in college, and then I broke my promise to myself, and I was at this weird hippie house, and I took a bong hit, which can be very strong, and I coughed really hard. What was that?
Did you cough blood or something?
No. I just coughed. Like, I was choking, and I thought I was going to faint. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to faint. I'm fine. But then I started getting, like, the worst feeling I've ever felt. Yeah, paranoia. Like, time was frozen. Wow. Okay. I felt like I was in hell. I didn't know anybody. It was just one of the worst experiences of my life. And I had to lay in a bed in this hippie house, and my girlfriend at the time freaked out and all this stuff.
On you?
Yeah, basically.
Because you were projecting whatever it is that you were going your inner projection.
Yeah, it was like a bad trip, sort of, except not with LSD, but rather with weed. Yeah, which I fully believe is possible, And then, so that was the worst ever. And then, anyway, that's the main story. But then I've slowly, occasionally had it ever since then, have some negative. I mean, I'm very sensitive to it, so I've definitely had wow, this is really hitting way too hard. But it's never been that bad again. And I will say, I have to say this, even though I'm not a big fan of weed, I don't really advocate it, but I will say that I've had experiences where it makes music sort of like absolutely magical. Like you just disappear into the song sort of thing. So that I like, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I don't really recommend it because I think it can have a lot of bad effects too.
Right.
But clearly, it can have good effects as well. But also I do think people get addicted to it, which is the other issue.
Right.
And it kind of makes you dumber, like,
No,
even,
that's the thing.
I feel a little spacey for days after it, yeah.
I want to be smart.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing.
I want to have a straight, straight head or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to be just that, I think that feeling of sluggishness or being...
Yeah, well, weed's kind of like that. I mean, in ways I do like it more than alcohol, because alcohol just, like, really, whereas at least weed, I don't know, they're so different, it's hard to compare. As I've gotten older, I've been able to see the wisdom. Like, growing up, it was always like, oh, weed is better than alcohol because it doesn't give you a hangover. And I was like, whatever. But as I've gotten older, I can kind of see the wisdom of that. Like, it's definitely physically it's easier to handle, but mentally, I think it does worse stuff to your brain, is what I would say. Yeah. It's very interesting.
I'll keep a note of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm probably not going to be taking it though.
Yeah.
Maybe,
it's life's long enough, and we live in California, so maybe you will one day. But yeah, most people don't freak out the way I did. I'm sensitive to it, clearly.
Yeah.
Most people love it. Like most people think it's the best feeling ever.
Oh, it's a high. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Just get that feeling, and it applies with what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That
Other drugs.
yes, and the sexual gratification.
Oh yeah. That oxytocin.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, oxytocin. Yeah. And I know about methamphetamines though. I don't know.
No, yeah, that's I've never done those, but that's a different kind of good feeling.
Which
it's an upper,
bizarre tale. It's so weird why I had that weird dream where you and Chris took
We're taking meth, yeah.
Meth and the Chelsea Hotel together, and he asked you if you ever had a hit of this. You were just cherubic, quite innocent. You're like, no. Just that
sounds like something out of one of his stories, which is funny. How there's always innocent characters having bad things happen to them.
I know. So maybe it could be one of them stories rubbed off on me, and it just stayed in my psyche in the dream. And what I can recall is the person in question was naked, and he was just full on naked, butt naked, looked like a walrus. And it was at a halfway house of all places to throw a potluck.
Like with alcoholics and stuff?
Yeah, like that, like ex-alcoholics or, convents or people who just got out of prison or mental facilities or they just got out of like a rough situation at home.
So there's the Carson.
Yep, the pavilion.
That's the mall you're talking about?
Yep, and that's where the Olive Garden is at.
Oh, neat.
Anyhow, but I recall in that dream, since you were there, Chris was there, and the person in question was there too, but he was in a very very lewd situation. He was very lewd.
Yeah.
And I don't appeal to that kind of behavior. Even when it comes to places where there's people around and all children. There's children, kids, teenagers, and whatnot. The teenagers are outside having a good time with all the other people.
Yeah.
And he's in that room, butt naked, all laid in the bed playing video games. Like, what is all that about? Where is he getting his kicks from, huh? That's where I'm trying to get my understanding from.
Sounds like a meaningful dream.
Kind of, deep.
But you said you had a dream about dying the other night, right?
I did have a dream about dying, which scared the witch out of me. I was so afraid. And that tells a lot. I'm not afraid, not that often anymore. that just scared the wits out of me. I was afraid that I was going to die.
Yeah.
And you know, when I die, you know, before I die, I'm gonna have this feeling of
regret.
Feeling of regret. There it is.
Yeah.
Feeling of regret that I lived my life long as I did, and I just regretted every moment of it.
Jeez. Do you think that was a figment of the dream, or do you think you would regret everything?
And that's scary. Maybe it could be a true thing that I might regret my life.
Yeah.
And
I hope not, but
indeed. So I want to.
Do you think you would right now if it all ended? It's a morbid question, but.
Well, probably, maybe.
Regret. Oh, I'm not trying to probe here, but regret what you've done, or regret what you haven't yet done.
What I have done.
That's better than regretting what you have.
Yeah. I regret what I have not done yet.
Yeah.
You know, that feeling of grief, that rage and anger and denial. Like, why? Oh, there's so much to do.
Yeah.
So much to say. So we're too young. I'm too young.
Yeah.
You know, they're too young. There's so much going that, and then the denial. I'm not going to. So that plays along with it, which is, you know, it is a terrible thing to put. Sorry,
no, it's okay.
It's a terrible thing to put a person in, place them in a way. I would hate for a person to go through that, or even myself. And maybe it's just, the law of life. You know, we have to go through this.
What, these dark nights of the soul?
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, I think so. Do you think because of the length of life, it's necessary to have these ebbs and flows? Yeah, like the moon, right? Think about that a lot.
Like John, yes.
You know, yeah, we can play that next maybe. You know, I don't know. You were mentioning earlier, like in terms of whether or not the moon influences water in us. I don't know about that, but I do think that the moon is a powerful metaphor for the way that our moods work, and the way that cycles of life can be.
Heck, that might be true. It could be. Could be true. True to you.
Yeah.
I don't disagree on that. Some kind of chemical in us changes the way certain things happen. Could be that too.
It's my Cancer moon. Just kidding.
Oh, the Cancer moon.
Yeah, that's what I have.
I wonder what my moon is. I know I'm the Libra.
I'm not.
You're sad.
The biggest astrologer on earth. I could help you look it up. What time were you born?
Oh, well, I was born September 24, 2000, Green Oasis Hospital, around, I believe, 2 a.m.
We could look that up.
Like 2 or 1 a.m.
Yeah. But no, you're right. I am a Sagittarius sun, Cancer moon, Capricorn rising.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I know an associate, at first a friend, but now kind of like an associate now, like an acquaintance now, because, I don't keep in touch. I try to keep in touch with him, but not so often anymore.
Yeah.
Either it's too busy.
He's a Capricorn?
Yeah. He don't answer the phone. So,
is that a Capricorn trait to not answer the phone?
Yeah, probably. And
I guess I don't know it, so yeah, maybe.
But I get it, you know. I understand that. I don't blame.
I don't know if I've ever been here in my life.
Oh God, you're gonna love it.
I mean, maybe I've been to San Pedro, but
I'll show you Wayman 7. That's where the school is.
That's Willenburg is in San Pedro?
Yep.
Oh wow, it's further from your house than I realized.
Indeed. Yeah. I take the school bus. The school bus picks me.
I see. Okay. I thought kind of San Pedro was nearer, but I guess you really do have to drive out on this. We're in that like part of Los Angeles that sticks out into the ocean.
Yep. And it's quite amazing.
Yeah. Look at this board. Wow.
Reminds me, feels like Portlandia.
Yeah.
Portland.
Oh, right. I like that series a lot, yeah.
Yes. Big Little Lies. I love the first one. The second season.
Yeah, the second season's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But,
the first one was so good.
I'm surprised they even tried to make a second season, actually.
Yeah.
Because the first one's based off a novel, and it makes sense. And then they're like, let's make a second season where Meryl Streep is like someone's weird mom.
Yeah.
I mean, it was entertaining, but it was weird, yeah.
Yeah. It just didn't, I guess, with that, and also maybe the direction of the director they got, I guess her direction was so different that it messed up the production, and so they fired her and then brought back the original director.
Oh yeah, that'll
to, pick it up and
that kind of indirection will not be
I'm picking up where she left off, or I'm trying to readjust to what happened. So that I think that's what happened.
Yeah,
the direction I don't know what was her original intent for the second season, though, what she was trying to get at. But yeah, and I have to say, one of my favorite shows is 6 Feet Under and Sharp Objects.
I haven't seen either of those, but they've been recommended to me.
6 Feet Under?
This guy's got his trunk open.
You remind me of one of them characters.
6 Feet Under. It's from it's a slightly older series, right? 2006-ish?
Yeah. 2002 to 2005.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a good era in general.
Yeah. Very good. I've been rewatching them over and over again on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yep.
Good to know. Maybe I'll try it out.
You remind me of one of them characters from 6 Feet Under.
Interesting.
I think you remind me of them too of Fisher Boys.
Interesting.
The one with his name is Nate, the eldest, and then the second.
Yeah, what's the show about mostly?
Oh, about morticians.
Dark
comedy.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. See, I don't think I've ever been to San Pedro. I'm gonna say it. This doesn't look at all familiar. It's cool.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Weymouth and 7. You want to see Weymouth and 7?
Yeah. Let me. We're en route to Sunken City, but just tell me where to turn for Weymouth and 7th. We're getting close to 7th, so that'll be easy enough. Is it gonna be a right or a left? Do you know?
Like around.
I can put it in my
Actually, that would be helpful.
Yeah, let's see.
I will have to type it in.
Let me try this.
Okay.
I'll call Willenberg CTC. Let's see.
There you go.
There you go. Cool. Yeah, there's a couple places in San Diego that kind of remind me of this, which makes sense because they have the parts of town that sort of jut out into the water more. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to think what that's called there. Not the Coronado, but something else. Anyway, it reminds me of this.
Yeah.
Loma Vista, maybe it's called.
Loma Vista. Yeah.
Whatever. Have you been to San Diego?
Well, passing through to go to TJ.
Yeah.
Medically.
Oh, for medically in TJ?
Yeah.
When was the last time you went there?
2022.
Yeah. I've never been. I would like to go.
I believe in April 2022.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I've been to other parts of Mexico, but never there.
Supposedly, I got polyps.
Oh, really? Yeah, they do have. It can be a good place for certain procedures down there, basically, right? Yeah. People go down there for their dentist work.
I've been trying to, if it's true, I'm trying to find ways to kill them.
Yeah.
I can remove these damn polyps.
Yeah.
And so that was the last time we went to Mexico, I reckon. And then afterwards, I just stayed home, go to school.
We're getting close to
Willenberg
here.
Oh, and it's next to a fraternity house, a Jewish synagogue, a temple, and an old folks retirement home facility, and I think a Catholic hospital.
Sure is a diverse neighborhood.
They call it the Old Company of Mary.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a fraternity house. Is there like a university? out here?
I'm sure there is, but I don't know where it's located.
San Pedro University. No, I was kidding.
Oh, I'd be surprised if it's called that.
Yeah.
But look, it just this little section reminds me of being in
Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah, like the last scene of Twin Peaks. Where she asks what year it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or it reminds me of Big Little Lies.
Yeah.
You know, that's where Celeste, where all these people, the women are driving, and there are all these multiple shots going dee 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 dee, and all these different music, that punk music, which I'm so happy. I'm glad that he had that kind of artistic freedom to do that, which is nice.
Yeah, there's some. It's been so long since I've seen it, but that show has a pretty good soundtrack, as I recall.
Yeah, which is kind of, you know, you can feel the character with the editing. The editing is a character of its own, too.
It is, yeah.
A story of its own.
It really is one of the great shows.
So it's, I don't want people to disregard the editing. Editing is important.
Oh, you're so right, yeah.
And
a lot of television viewers, yeah, right, don't understand how important editing is. It helps
with the narrative. It helps with...
it's writing. Editing is writing with pre-existing footage, basically.
Yep. Here it is.
That's it. Oh, okay, yeah, I've seen some of these. I guess I can't pull in, but I can maybe pull in for a second. Get arrested for trespassing, but yeah.
There's an image of it.
Oh, we get a picture.
In the back, this is where all the I don't want to be so crass, but the
special needs.
The special needs. That's where they have. Like the severely special needs. Young adults in here, and they're very good people. You know.
Yeah.
Very, very friendly people. Very, very nice people. And then, furthermore, there are because I don't want to rank anybody.
Right.
I'm trying to give you an understanding
that there's different types of people. Yeah.
It's a spectrum. It is a spectrum. I'm one of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So furthermore, it's where they have all the work and do all the working stuff. You know, the work.
Yeah.
The high functioning, they call
high
it.
Functioning, right? Is that what they? Well, I'm not trying to pry. Did they put you as high functioning? Or you don't even have to tell me. I'm not trying to.
I am a high functioning.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Not that I'm ranking anybody, but yeah.
One that's neurodivergent.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is though.
Yeah, what do you think of that word? Does it agree? I mean, it's kind of cool. It could be cool, right? To be divergent, right? Or not? Yeah. I don't know. Depends on how you look at it.
I just
neurodiverse. I've heard too.
What I recall, because back in the high school, they just called me special ed. And that was
right,
it.
And that's like a catch-all kind of.
Mm-hmm. Special ed. That was it. That's all I knew. Special ed. But neurodivergent or the autism, that was not in my vocabulary at the time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and labels are helpful until they're not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, geez, I've learned this all the way till the end. Maybe I'm glad I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was in bliss.
Yeah.
That too. Even these little parties that I go to, attend these parties. They have all these little nasty little secrets, and they're bliss.
It's bliss not to know about them.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you notice, they're nasty little secrets they got. Sneaking around.
You think so? Yeah. That's more all of it.
This was opened in 1951.
Wow, it's vintage kind of.
Very
always as a career transition center.
Yep.
Yeah. Willenburg. Wow. How many career career transition centers like this are there in a given area?
Yeah,
is this like a big
couple, actually.
Big feeder? Yeah.
Oh my God, there's a couple. There's one by my house, over there in Gardena, of course.
Yeah.
God, I forgot the name of that. I was gonna go there, but I just went to this one.
They just deemed it a better fit, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I already knew the people, because I went there part-time when I was in high school.
Oh, yeah, well, it helps to know people,
So,
of course.
I was used to it. I was accustomed to this one.
So the bus ride notwithstanding. What is that, like a half-hour bus ride?
It was like 30 minutes, almost like less than 40 minutes.
Well, that's not terrible. That's really not that bad, I guess.
20.
I mean, I actually I wish my commute was a little shorter in the morning to work, but like having some degree of a buffer between leaving the house and getting to the place is not bad. You can kind of daydream or whatever.
Right. But Willenburg, there's that one career transition center in Gardena, and I think in the Redondo Beach area, and there's one in Whittier, and there's one, I believe, I'm trying to recall one, I think in the Bay Area, the San Francisco area.
I wonder if there's any like near me, for example. Well, it probably is.
There's a couple. I'm sure there's a couple in Los Angeles around that area.
San Fernando Valley, whatever.
Yeah, and then I don't think there are any.
It's a Thanksgiving turkey.
PV, which I went to PV for the Christmas program. I tell you.
Yeah, maybe they would just come here if they lived in PV. But
yeah, PV.
Yeah, well, where are your peers and associates from? All over, kind of, or like mostly the South Bay? Yeah.
Some were in Gardena, actually.
Yeah.
Some were in Gardena, some were in Carson, some were in Torrance, and some were here in San Pedro.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Most of them were in Gardena.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, I kind of recall that one situation that happened in the PV High School. The PV High School, the kids.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I think that's
it's quite a view.
Yeah.
Oh, the situation at PV High School.
There were louses, I have to tell you.
Oh, wow, we're driving clear to the end. Makes sense.
Louse.
Louses.
Yes.
Lice. Louses. Right. Louses works too.
Louse, like lousy, like a lousy person.
Yeah.
Louse. Oh, I did not. That behavior, it did not appeal to me. I didn't appreciate what they were doing or what they were saying. All because of, they were either because of that. It was for extra credit. And what happened?
Yeah.
And they just want that extra credit so they, get that credit for the college. And the way they did some kind of community service.
Yeah.
And that they were saying. And then and they used the word mongoloid, and they used the word the retard.
Oh boy.
That's what they used, the retard. And mongoloid. And they couldn't wait to leave, that they're glad to leave and attend some party, that they were, you're going to head up to my party. Whose party? I don't even know whose party. I'm talking about some kind of party.
Douchebaggery.
Yeah, that's evidently, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I got from my ears listening, attending somebody's party.
Yeah.
It just left me disquieted.
Oh, look at that. It's beautiful.
Quite an ambience of its own. Very ambient.
Yeah, this song?
No.
Oh, you like it?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it so far.
It's Black Marble, I think, is the band.
Yes. Oh, yeah. These community homes, community houses was, when I reckon many years ago, a couple of years back, it was so empty, that lot, or steep lot.
This is all new housing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Over there, it was just so flat.
Interesting. So the San Pedro's kind of a growing area?
Yeah. In that area of the, if you see that, you just passed by, right?
Yeah.
That community, the house, gated community.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, it was 2020, 2019. It was also steep, so flat. The houses were being built.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, like,
what do you think the draw is? Just like it's a cheaper area to live?
Either that, or maybe probably could be like the aesthetic of it all.
Yeah, I mean, it is beautiful.
So that,
yeah, what do you think this is, like, economic? This is like middle class, right?
I
Because it almost feels like an area that rich people would live because it's like so near the ocean. But I kind of have it has a more middle class feel too.
Oh, of course. I would say middle upper class.
That makes sense. Oh, these skeletons.
Is that a label to categorize it? Middle upper class.
Yeah. That makes sense. This is a lot of LA.
Oh, of course, middle upper class.
Yeah. How do you feel with the sun setting earlier these days? Do you find that depressing? Because I do, but
oh, really?
not a little bit, yeah.
Oh, I don't. It's
good. I'm glad.
Alive at night.
Interesting. I don't dislike the night. There's something about the sun setting early that I don't know. I can kind of embrace it. It's the time of year. It's Halloween, moving into Thanksgiving, moving into Christmas, Election Day. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's iconic, but like at the same time, my overall mood probably does go down with less sunlight. Yeah.
How does the serotonin kick in?
Yeah. Or you're asking how
melatonin.
It is?
Sorry.
Yeah, I guess so. But melatonin should be good, I think. But I don't know. I'm not too.
It could be that.
Not too depressed.
The melatonin kicking in.
Yeah.
The serotonin kicks in the morning. So I'm trying to recall. It's that serotonin's for the day, melatonin's for night, for sleeping.
Interesting. They're like almost like opposites?
Yeah.
Interesting.
A polarity of its kind. I guess we get that imbalance because we get too much melatonin or too much serotonin.
Yeah.
And we could be chemically
too much
imbalanced.
serotonin can cause anxiety. I shouldn't spitball. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, too much serotonin can cause anxiety. Too little serotonin can cause depression, is kind of my take. But I don't know where melatonin exactly fits in. Oh, you know this song at all? This is
sounds familiar.
Dirty Beaches is the group. Yeah.
Dirty Beaches. What's the band?
Oh, the band's Dirty Beaches.
Oh, no, okay.
Yeah, and they have
the
very
title,
Twin
True
Peaks.
Blue. Okay, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, I haven't heard this in a while.
It reminds me of Salvia Plath.
Oh, yeah. I know Salvia
Plath.
Yeah.
And another one called The Drums.
The Drugs.
The Drums?
Oh, the drums. Yeah, I know the drums.
And I think there's another one called
Elvis Depressively.
Yeah.
You know them? Yeah.
Yeah, and then one with they did a couple songs which at the time were very good. Well, I was, it was up my alley at the time. Fear. There's the title of the song called Fear, and Blondie. Not the band, but the title of the song is called Blondie. Another one called...
Oh, sorry.
And if you recognize this tune, it's going ding, 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 ding.
Oh, these people looking out. Yeah,
I'm just a kid.
And My Life is a Nightmare?
Yes.
Wait, what's that band?
I'm trying to recall the band.
Simple Plan?
Might be that one. No.
Yeah.
I think the Money? No. Money Drunk. I should look it up.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, what is that?
Oh,
should we be going in
the
here?
Liberty Bell.
Yeah. Is this a bad idea to go in? Is it too late?
No.
I'm just very curious what the hell that is. So, and there's probably parking here, right? Is this like a park?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'm trying to find the song.
Yeah. What would you say this is? Like a public park?
Yes.
Cool. Wow, this is something. It's gonna be probably cold as balls out there, but I have a jacket. Wow. What's that pagoda? That's got to be a Japanese something or other, right?
Oh yeah, it's the Liberty Bell, where the Friendship Bell they call it. The Friendship Bell.
All right, let's check it out. You want to get out, or is it too cold?
Current Joys.
Okay, we'll play that when we get back.